In 1900, 41% of Americans worked in agriculture. Today, it's 1.3%. That's not a typo. 1.3%. And here's the question nobody asks when they hear that statistic. What happened to the other 39.7%? They didn't starve. They didn't disappear. They didn't spend the rest of their lives mourning the farms they lost. They got new jobs that didn't have names yet in 1900, jobs that didn't exist as concepts, jobs that, if you had described them to a farmer in 1900, would have sounded like pure science fiction. Software engineer, UX designer, social media manager, podcast producer, data scientist, SEO specialist, app developer, cloud architect. None of those had names. None of those existed. And right now, in 2026, the same thing is happening again, faster than any shift in recorded history. An Institute for the Future study found that 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 don't exist today. Let that land for a second. 85%. If you're building your career around what exists right now, if you're optimizing for the jobs that are currently posted on LinkedIn, the degrees that are currently considered valuable, the skills that are currently being rewarded, you are already planning for the past. But here's what changes everything. New jobs don't appear randomly. They're not chaos. They follow a pattern so consistent that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And if you understand the pattern, you can position yourself for what's coming before it arrives. So let's talk about the pattern. Every major technological disruption in history has created jobs in 3 distinct waves. Wave 1 is the builders. These are the people who construct the new technology. In the 1990s internet boom, that was the engineers who coded the web, the people who built the servers, laid the fiber optic cables, wrote the protocols. Wave 1 jobs are technical. They're specialized. There aren't that many of them relative to the size of the disruption. And they go to people who got there early when the technology was still rough and confusing, and most people weren't paying attention. Wave 2 is the operators. Once the technology exists, you need people to run it. The web designers who made websites look good. The network administrators who kept the internet actually working. The IT departments that showed up when your computer crashed. Wave 2 is bigger than Wave 1. It requires less specialized knowledge but more practical skill. These jobs appear fast, pay well, and create an entire professional ecosystem around the new technology. Wave 3, and this is the one that matters most, is the integrators. Integrators are the people who take the new technology and use it to do human things better. The therapist who figured out that video calls let her reach patients in rural areas who couldn't access mental health care before. The teacher who redesigned her entire curriculum around the internet and reached students in ways a classroom never could. The journalist who used data tools to find stories that no reporter armed with just a pen and a phone could find. Wave 3 is always the biggest wave, the most jobs, the most economic value, the most lasting impact. And here's where we are right now. We are in Wave 1 of artificial intelligence. The Wave 1 AI jobs are already here and already competitive. The machine learning engineers, the AI researchers, the prompt engineers, the people building the foundation models. Wave 2 is beginning. The people who deploy and operate AI systems, the AI product managers, the people who build the tools that sit on top of the foundation models. But Wave 3, the integrators, hasn't really started yet, and Wave 3 is going to be enormous. Think about every profession that exists right now. Every single one of them is about to have an AI augmented version. The lawyer who uses AI to analyze contracts 10 times faster than any human. The doctor who uses AI to catch diagnoses that human eyes miss. the architect who designs buildings with AI assistance that would have taken a team of 50 people a generation ago. These aren't replacement jobs. They're upgraded jobs. Jobs that require the same human expertise they always required, plus the ability to work alongside tools that didn't exist 5 years ago. But here's the deeper truth about waves. The people who benefit most from Wave 3 are almost never the people who were in Wave 1. The farmers who lost their jobs to mechanized agriculture in the early 1900s were not the ones who became software engineers in the 1990s. Their grandchildren were. Each wave creates disruption for the people caught in the middle, the people whose specific skills become obsolete before they have time to adapt. And right now, there are a lot of people in the middle. Routine cognitive jobs, the kind of work that involves processing information, following rules, generating standard outputs, are being automated faster than most people can track. Customer service representatives, junior copywriters, basic data analysts, entry-level accountants. These aren't low-skilled jobs. They're jobs that require real training and real expertise, and they're being compressed by AI tools that can do the routine parts in seconds. So what do you actually do with all of this? Here is the framework that the research supports. Stop asking which jobs will survive AI. That's the wrong question. It focuses on defense, on protecting what exists, on hoping your specific role doesn't get targeted. Start asking which human needs AI makes more urgent. Because here's the counterintuitive thing about AI. The more cognitive work gets automated, the more valuable genuinely human things become. When everyone has access to AI that can write a decent email, the person who can write an exceptional email, one with a real voice, real emotional intelligence, real persuasion, becomes more valuable, not less. When everyone has access to AI that can analyze data, the person who can ask the right questions of that data, who has the judgment to know which numbers matter and why, becomes more valuable, not less. When AI can generate 100 options in seconds, the person who can look at those options and know which one is actually right, who has the taste and the experience and the contextual understanding to make that call, becomes the most valuable person in the room. The skills that AI cannot replicate are not the skills most schools teach: genuine creativity, real emotional intelligence, deep contextual judgment, the ability to navigate ambiguity, the ability to build trust with other humans over time. These are not soft skills. These are the hardest skills. They take years to develop, and they become more valuable in a world where everything else is being automated. Here's one more thing worth understanding. The anxiety people feel right now about AI and jobs is not new. In 1589, Queen Elizabeth I of England refused to grant a patent to William Lee for his stocking frame knitting machine. Her reasoning? It would put hand knitters out of work, and those people needed to eat. She was right. It did put hand knitters out of work, eventually. But by the time the Industrial Revolution was in full swing, more people were employed in textile production than had ever worked as hand knitters, because the machines made fabric cheap enough that everyone could afford it, which created demand that no amount of hand knitting could ever have satisfied. The machines didn't shrink the industry, they exploded it. Every generation believes that this time is different, that this disruption is the one that finally breaks the pattern, that this technology is the one that creates more destruction than opportunity. Every generation has been wrong, but, and this is the part people skip over, every generation was also right about the disruption in the short term. The hand knitters who were alive in 1589 did lose their livelihoods. The adaptation happened across generations, not within a single career. The people who will be hurt most by AI are the people who are too deep into a specific, automatable skill to pivot easily, and who don't have the time horizon to wait for wave 3. If that's you, the time to start building something adjacent, something that sits at the intersection of your current expertise and the genuinely human skills AI can't replicate, is not when your job disappears. It's now. The job that will define your career might not have a name yet, but the skills it will require, you can start building those today. The farmers who thrived weren't the ones who held on to farming the longest. They were the ones who understood what they were actually good at: feeding people, managing land, solving problems with limited resources, and found new ways to apply it. The technology changes. The human underneath it doesn't, and the human underneath it is always what was valuable.